Hi everyone, my name is Emma. I graduated from the IRES program in 2022 with a Masters of Science, and I'm now a systems ecologist at ESSA Technologies, which is an environmental consulting firm in Vancouver. I focus mainly on marine ecosystems and climate change adaptation work, but my work could be quite varied just depending on the project and the client. Mainly the types of work that ESSA does is to do with modeling, engagement, and knowledge synthesis. And if you'd like to learn more, you can check us out at essa.com, that's ESSA.com. So yeah, really looking forward to connecting with everyone on the 16th.
Hi, my name is Aguirre. I graduated from the IRES program in 2025 with a master's degree. My research primarily focused on bat ecology in the Metro Vancouver region, and I'm currently working as a consultant with the Wildlife Conservation Society Canada. I really enjoy this work because it allows me to work hands-on with bats and be on the front lines of bat conservation in both the region and the province at large. If you're interested in this type of work or wildlife conservation in general, I highly recommend looking at the different nonprofits and consulting groups that are in your area as a good starting point. I'm really excited to connect with people on the 16th.
Hi everyone, my name is Zimmerman, and I'm a 2021 IRES alumni with a background in urban planning. Since graduating, I've worked here at Metro Vancouver on a number of wastewater projects, and I'm currently a senior regulatory and environmental analyst in the project delivery department. And so I want to start off by saying I really like my role. I think it's really interesting to work on such big, complex projects. And for me, no 2 days are the same. I think the scale and complexity of these projects really have given me a lot of opportunity to dig into areas that excite me the most. And for me, that's everything that touches environment and sustainability on the projects. And so in my role, I help support the projects in kind of two different ways. One is your more traditional policy analyst role, looking at permitting requirements, meeting with regulators, putting together applications, and creating content for engagement. I think the second is a bit more unique for a policy person working in the construction world. I do have a boots on the ground role where I get to go to site. I walk around with our contractor and our consultants, and I'm the main point of contact for Metro Vancouver on things like water management, soil management, wildlife management, and our lead in sustainability reporting. Another aspect of the project is the project management perspective, and for me, that's bringing together our engineers, our scientists, our procurement folks, our community liaisons, everyone who makes the project continue to operate. And so if any of that sounds interesting, feel free to reach out, and I'm excited to see you in April. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, my name is Claire Ewing. I graduated from IRES in 2021 with a Master's of Science, and now I'm a Senior Climate Action Specialist at the City of Richmond. My role is quite varied across the different job functions, the day-to-day, the sectors that I work on, but generally it's organized around decarbonizing the 30,000 plus buildings across the city by 2050. If you're interested in this type of work, it might sound boring, but I recommend reading the climate plan of whatever government you're potentially interested in, because that is how most climate teams, like the one I'm on, derive their work plans. So the best way to understand what I work on and what other governments work on is by reading those plans. I'm looking forward to connecting with everyone on the 16th.
Hi, I'm Glory. Finished my program in 2025. Now I work as a climate and health scientist at Interior Health. I started this role before I graduated, so I've been with Interior Health for about a year, almost a year and a half. And I kind of do a lot of work around climate adaptation, vulnerability assessments, surveillance of health impacts of climate change. And given the health authority is funded by the province, so there's often that push and pull. So we're in an interesting space right now. So I like what I do, but there's a lot of uncertainty in this space. So it makes my job harder. So I would say probably take a course at the School of Population and Public Health. I have a master's in public health, so I did some public health work before this. Talk to me. I'm happy to have a chat about what this landscape is. And also all the health authorities, almost all, I think all of them now have some form of climate resiliency plan or climate action plan for the health authority. The Ministry of Health has one. So reviewing those documents can give you a sense of what do they think of as important, what is their vision, what's their plan. So it kind of gives you a sense of whether you actually really like this type of stuff or not.
Hello, my name is Erika and I graduated from IRES in 2021 with a master's. And ever since graduating from IRES, I've been working for the International Institute for Sustainable Development as a policy analyst. One of the main things that I like about my job is that I get to work directly with policymakers, specifically in the East African region, who are working directly on the agenda to drive sustainable agriculture and sustainable food systems. And another fun thing about my job is that I also get to travel to these places in person to work with them. And I will say, if you want to get more into the field of international development, maybe check out platforms like DevEx. I think it's a good place to start if you want to get involved.
Well, hello, RES community. I'm Vanessa Timmer, and I graduated with my PhD in 2007. And for the last 20 years, I've also become the executive director of OneEarth Living, a nonprofit think and do tank that's focused on sustainable everyday living around the world. When I co-founded it 20 years ago, we started out by focusing on the Sustainable Development Goal 12 on responsible consumption and production. And today we're working with cities, with IKEA, with the United Nations to support people to live sustainably around the world during big life changes. So when they start school or have a child or retire or move to a new place, we're figuring out how to make sustainable living easy, accessible, and desirable for people. I'm also a senior research fellow at Utrecht University, and I, like many of you, had a interdisciplinary PhD. And one thing that's really surprised me over the last 20 years is that I haven't had to pick between my passions. I've been able to focus on sustainability science and bringing that research into practice. And I've also brought in my passion for good communication and storytelling. So I co-hosted a TV show called The Sustainable Region in Metro Vancouver for 10 years. And I've worked with futurists on imagining what sustainable everyday living could look like. So if I'd have one advice for any of you finishing your schooling or in the midst of it, you might not need to pick between your passions, but you could actually weave them together like I have in your future career. I won't be able to join you all on the 16th for your gathering because I'll be at the TED conference, but if any of this sounds interesting to you, please feel welcome to reach out. I'd be very keen to talk with any of you about your own work and your interests. Have a great gathering together.
Hi all, my name is Narayan Gopinathan. I completed my master's in IRES in 2020, and I'm currently completing my PhD at UCLA. I research the techno-economics of transportation electrification, and I teach on sustainable food systems here at UCLA. At UBC, I completed my thesis on the emissions of electric vehicles in India, and I'm currently focusing on railroad electrification as a cost-effective way to reduce carbon emissions. I really loved my time at UBC and hope you enjoy it while you're there. It's such a wonderful, beautiful place. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn and reach out for me for any reason. Bye.
Hi there, folks. My name's Bowness. I'm calling in from the banks of the Dishkemzibi, or the Antler River, on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabeg, the Haudenosaunee, and the Attawandaron peoples. I'm also working at Western University in London, Ontario, where I'm an assistant professor and also a Canada Research Chair in Sustainability and Equity in the Department of Geography and Environment. I graduated from UBC at IRES in 2021 with a PhD, and I'm really grateful for my time there. It set me up really well for the kind of work that I'm doing today. I run a research group called the TEST Lab, or the Towards Equitable Sustainability Transitions Lab, and also the Frame Studio, the Fostering Resilience Through Audiovisual Media and Engaged Scholarship Studio, a lot of acronyms. We work with community partners with deep connections to the lands and waters that sustain their ways of life to support visual storytelling and knowledge sharing around confronting and adapting to rapidly changing ecological and social conditions. I'm really grateful for my time at UBC, like I said, and I'd be more than happy to connect with you folks to share a little bit of my experience. Sadly, I won't be there in person with you, but I'd be more than happy to connect with you virtually at some point. If you want, you can drop me a line. Just go to our website, thetestlab.ca, and there you can find my contact info. Hope that you folks have a nice day, and wishing you all the best with your time at UBC.
Hey everyone, my name is Susanna Klassen. I graduated from the IRES PhD program in 2022, and I'm currently wrapping up a postdoc at the University of Victoria working on climate change impacts and protections from extreme heat for farm workers. And this work has been super challenging and really inspiring, learning from amazing advocacy groups like Community to Community Development in Washington State and the Worker Solidarity Network, who's a partner on our research here in BC. So you should look them up if you want to learn more about advocacy and research in that area. I hope you guys are all having a really fun time together and that you have a great gathering. And I hope to see some of you soon.